To you cigar lovers out there, it's Tam again, and the guys at Cigarsindia.in, India's largest and most trusted online retailer, have asked me to review these beauties here, the Trinadad Reyes, which come in this nice handy box, and nice compact smoke. Let's just get it close to the camera. I hope you can see that. This is about 4.5 inches by a 42 ring gauge, so it's a nice, you could say relatively quick smoke, nice and punchy, and if you don't have very much time, this is perhaps a good size to start with the Trinadad range. They have different sizes in their range, and some of them actually take significantly longer to smoke. So, getting a nice whiff on this. So, this brand didn't really exist prior to the revolution, although there were certain companies which did produce something before the revolution with the name Trinadad, but they're not really associated with this particular brand, which is actually named after a location rather than famous people with that particular name. So, picking up some nice pre-lighting notes on this. It's a floral quality. There's a hint of Cohiba grassy flavour, which I'll explain to you a bit later, but that's certainly present. But otherwise a nice, well-balanced and well-seasoned cigar. Construction is fine and should be a good smoke. So this is intrinsically linked to the Cohiba Vitola of cigars. It's actually made in the same factory, the La Quinta factory, and whilst the Cohiba was generally launched in 1966, the Trinidad range was founded around 1969, and both varieties were used as diplomatic gifts and were generally available significantly later. So in the case of the Trinidad, this was actually generally available from about 1997, and they started off with what was known as the Fundadoras. So it was actually launched in 2004 to the general public. Characteristics now. This is viewed as a milder and more aromatic version of the Cohiba, and to that extent I would tend to agree with it. The blend you could describe as elegant, the aftertaste is excellent, certainly a more understated and discreet version of the Cohiba. Characteristics now in terms of flavors and aromas to pick up with this blend. First thing, subtle and floral, certain herbal flavors, faint honey, sweetness, and a mild tobacco taste. So those are the primary characters that come out. It's certainly very complex, and the flavors are so well balanced that they're all in harmony with each other. So even though those identifiers which I've picked up are there, there's nothing that really overpowers any of the other characteristics in that cigar. So it's an awesome blend. Having said that, there is that one other characteristic which it seems to share with the Cohiba range, that of that Cohiba grassy flavour, which is intrinsic to the cigar and in no way is detrimental to it. Some cigars which are green, simply maybe because they haven't been aged for long enough, this is certainly not that. These cigars have been kept for some time for maturation before actually being rolled and then subsequently released. So it's not that, it's just that grassy quality, grassy flavour that comes through, but it's very, very faint, less so than the Cohiba range of cigars. Wonderful toasty tobacco coming up. There's no sharpness, it's very sweet, fairly sweet, when I say very sweet, fairly sweet. And it does have those floral tones coming through. I don't detect, excuse me, the herbal notes, but certainly the floral notes are there. And toasted tobacco leaf. Excuse me. I'll stop at this point and get back to you about halfway through this. Hi people, I'm back again, and I'm about halfway through this cigar, and going by my own instructions, I've taken it easy. Generally I'm a very fast smoker of cigars. I constantly puff away and finish it very quickly, but as I said before, give this cigar or this brand some time to really express itself and demonstrate its subtle flavors. I'm not getting anything different from what I described earlier. The floral notes are there, the toasted tobacco is there, there's some honey sweetness, and of course there is that grassiness as well. And essentially, with each puff, one of those characteristics comes to the fore and then goes down, and on the next puff another of those characteristics comes to the fore and then goes down. So in that process it's like a relay of all of these flavors coming through. There's nothing harsh or peppery or spicy about this at all. There's nothing earthy about this either, compared to say some cigars like the Bolivar or the Partagas, which are quite potent. This is certainly a lot milder, and certainly milder even than the Cohiba range. So, I do like my simile, so I'll run with this one. I hope you don't mind. If you're a car fan and you would consider, say, the Rolls-Royce, one of the premier marks of cars, then you could say, arguably, that the Cohiba would be similar to that. In this case, if the Cohiba is a Rolls-Royce, then the Trinadad would be described as a Bentley, the much more understated, round-shouldered version of the Cohiba. So if you want something a bit more discreet, something offering subtle flavors and a more refined taste experience, then perhaps this would be the preference over even the Cohiba, which in itself is a remarkably good cigar. Even the aroma of the smoke is just really nice, very aromatic. It's starting to pick up now a bit, it's getting towards the end, but again those flavors and characters are very well balanced. It's just the strength which is increasing slightly. I think this would go out pretty much to the end of the cigar, so I leave you at this stage and hopefully let you decide for yourself. Price point, we're looking at about 690 rupees with the gentleman at Cigarsindia.in, and you won't be disappointed with this. Very well constructed, very well balanced, and very complex smoke. So I'll leave you with thank you for watching, and if you like us, please do subscribe on the YouTube channel and give us a like and a thumbs up on Facebook and Twitter as well. Also, please do call the guys Abhilash and Joy. They're more than happy to guide you through the cigar choosing process and the intricacies of these wonderful and delectable stogies. So hopefully see you